So I got inspired by Spumwack to make a video about all the heroes ults in Overwatch. Pretty much when you press Q and how if it disappears or if it stays there. He did a video about this where he shows McCree's ult compared to, for example, Soldier's, Hanzo's, and Genji's ult, which when you press their ults, the charge still stays there, and McCree's disappears straight away even if he does nearly to non-damage after he presses Q. So I just took all the heroes, built up their ultis, jumped down to my death, and tried to compare as good as possible. Hope you guys enjoy.
I've got you in my actions. Die.
Justice reigns from above. Ay, pobrecito. Apagando las luces.
So now that I'm done with the offense heroes, I'm gonna move over to the defense heroes, but first I wanna go over what actually happened with the ultis. As Spumwack showed in his videos, the only heroes that really kept their ultis is Genji and Soldier when they jump down to the death. Mainly because Pharah stays in there and starts to shoot right away. She inputs damage right away. Reaper does damage as well right away. Sombra doesn't do damage, but she inflicts the enemy with her EMP right away. Tracer throws her bomb, it's not on her anymore, of course that's gonna disappear right away. And for Genji and Soldier it stays, but with McCree it disappears right away, and he does no damage at all for the first second, but it still disappears. So now we're gonna move over to the defense heroes and see how they do.
No one.
So now just to summarize the clips that I just showed you of the defense heroes, that is Hanzo, Bastion, Torbjorn, Mei, Widowmaker, and Junkrat. The only heroes that got to keep their ultis was Bastion and Hanzo. The hero that almost kept this ulti was Torbjorn, which almost every time I tried it stayed on 80 to 50% when I jumped off and triggered the ulti by pressing Q. Junkrat also kept his, but only because you can't trigger it when you jump off. You have to stand still on the ground, then trigger it for it to actually work. Setting that all aside, I'm now gonna show you some stats of the heroes that got to keep their ults and the heroes that didn't get to keep their ults. So right off the bat, Hanzo, when you jump off and press Q, he gets to keep his ult. Bastion, when you jump off, also got to keep his ult. And Torbjorn got to almost keep his ult, but not so much. He went down to 80%, but that's real easy to build up again. Mei lost her ult right away when you throw it, but that also does damage right away when it comes out. Widowmaker's ult is also effective as soon as you press Q. It disappears right away, but it activates right away. And the sole purpose of Widowmaker's ult is so that you can see where all the enemies is, so there's no enemies creeping up and you're hiding. And as I already told you, Junkrats, you have to stand still for his ulti to be effective. Now we're gonna move over to the tank heroes, which is the most interesting heroes to talk about, and the support heroes.
Hammer down!
Огонь!
So now we've almost come to the end with the tank heroes now on the spotlight, and we're gonna look at Diva, Reinhardt, Orisa, Roadhog, Winston, and Zarya. Which heroes got to keep their ultis and which heroes didn't? So it's pretty basic. The only heroes that got to keep their ulti was Reinhardt, one hero. And Roadhog almost kept his. When he died, he was left with like 20 in ult charge, but the rest of them didn't have any ult charge. And that is mainly because Diva sends her mech out right away, and it doesn't stay. So when she dies, she's dead, but her mech is still doing the damage. Reinhardt has to be on a solid ground or a ground form to use his ult. He can still activate it in the air, but it won't be fully activated and take down the ult charge for good until he touches ground. Orisa doesn't matter. When she's in the air, she throws down her ult like Soldier, for example, when he throws down his E, his heal. Roadhog presses Q, he pulls out his scrap gun and starts shooting everything, and it disappears down to 20 if he dies quick enough. Winston, it disappears right away, but though that seems kind of fair because he goes up to 1000 HP and pretty much doesn't have to care about his HP if he was at low HP when he ulted. Zarya doesn't get to keep her because she shoots out a bubble, and that has nothing to do with all the other ultis that is being compared. So now we're gonna move over to the last category, which is support heroes.
You're powered up. Get
Raising the volume. Oh, let's break it. Damn!
Heroes never die.
These clips that I just showed you was of the support heroes, and that is Ana, Mercy, Lucio, Symmetra, and Zenyatta. It was really hard comparing these to the tanks, defense, and offense heroes. Mainly because Ana's ulti goes straight out, Mercy's ulti goes straight out, and Symmetra's ulti goes straight out. And we have two heroes, Lucio and Symmetra, who got to keep their ultis while jumping to their death. Keep in mind, I'm only comparing this to jumping to my death. I'm not comparing this to when I'm getting killed, how far I'm gonna keep the ulti. That's for another video. But, as I said, Ana, Mercy, and Zenyatta didn't get to keep their ultis. When Ana ulted, I jumped off a cliff and I ulted a robo teammate. It went away right away. Mercy, I revived a robo teammate and it went away right away. Zenyatta, I jumped off, I pressed Q, and of course you go into Transcendence and it disappears right away. It was not the same thing with Lucio or Symmetra. With Lucio, what I did was I pressed Q in air and it was the same as Reinhardt. It waits for you to land, and if you don't land, you die and it doesn't go out. Symmetra, I press Q, I try to put out a teleporter or a shield generator, and it doesn't work until you make contact with the ground. Now, that was all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to check in Spamwack for his awesome videos. I think he makes much better videos than I do. I am aware of the quality and that it is quite low. It's not up to the standard, and I do not have the professionalism that the usual YouTubers do with much subscribers. But this is the first time in a while that I actually do a serious video, and I'm trying something new, so please leave any feedback that you have in the comments, and if you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe, and just look out for my new content coming out.
Oh, let's break it. Damn!